Have you ever wondered why some women are unforgettable? Why he walks away from one woman without a second thought, but finds himself haunted by another he just can't let go of? It's not about looks. It's not about what she wears or says. It's something deeper, something that gets under his skin, into his mind, and stays there. A pull he can't explain, a connection he can't replace. And the truth? That kind of emotional grip, it's not luck, it's power. A silent kind of power that makes him crave her presence, long for her voice, and ache for the peace only she brings. That kind of woman doesn't just exist in his life, she lives in his soul. Seneca once said, "A woman who understands herself is more terrifying than a man who commands armies." And that's what this is really about. Understanding yourself, knowing what makes a man not just want you, but need you. Not in desperation, but in deep emotional attachment. When a woman stops chasing and starts embodying the kind of presence that calms his storms and stirs his soul, he doesn't just want her, he can't imagine life without her. Think of the ocean, calm on the surface, but beneath it, a depth he can never measure, a pull stronger than anything he's ever felt. That's what you are becoming. The woman who is soft in her words, but firm in her spirit. The woman who doesn't beg to be loved, but is loved without asking. Because love rooted in respect, emotional connection, and mystery. That's the kind that never fades. Right now, maybe he's distant, maybe he's distracted, maybe you feel like he's slipping through your fingers, but don't shrink. Don't chase. Don't try to prove your worth to a man who hasn't yet seen it. Instead, let this be your turning point. Because once you realize your presence is the most powerful thing you own, everything changes. And from this moment on, you do not live like you're waiting for love to find you. You rise into the kind of woman love cannot ignore, not because you shouted, but because your silence spoke louder than any words ever could. You're not just any woman, you are becoming what he will never be able to walk away from. Dear woman, you are not here to be remembered, you are here to be unforgettable. And this is how a queen is born. If this message touched something deep in your heart, if it reminded you of the power that's always been within you, then take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard every single day to bring you truth, healing, and strength, so you never forget what kind of woman you are becoming. You deserve content that speaks to your soul, and we're here to give you just that. 1. When you make him feel seen in a world that only claps for his surface, he never forgets the one who saw his soul. Have you ever noticed how a man can be surrounded by praise, admiration, and applause, but still feel empty? He hears people clap for his charm, for his success, for the mask he wears in public. But behind all of that, he's still waiting for just one person to look past the surface, past the image, and truly see him. Not the version he shows the world, but the one he hides. His fears, his flaws, his quiet battles. And when he finds that kind of woman, he doesn't just remember her, he becomes emotionally tied to her in a way he can't explain and can't escape. There's a quote that says, "To be seen and loved anyway, that's the closest thing to magic." That's exactly what creates emotional addiction, because any man can get attention, but very few ever feel understood. The woman who sees through his strength and speaks to his soul, that woman becomes unforgettable. Not because she gave him everything, but because she made him feel something no one else ever did. Safe, open, real. Think of a mirror. Most people show him a reflection he wants to see, but you become the mirror that doesn't just reflect, but reveals. You show him who he really is, even when he forgets. And in a world full of noise, you become the quiet he craves. When you listen without judgment, when you speak to the parts of him he doesn't show, you don't just attract his attention, you hold his heart. But don't lose yourself trying to be his peace. You're not here to fix him, you're here to rise. And when you know your own worth, when your love is rooted in strength, not need, he feels that. That's what pulls him closer. That's what makes him stay. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to be the reason he sees the world differently. And now it's time to walk in that power. No more questioning if you're enough. You are the mirror, the anchor, the calm. The woman who saw his soul and still chose to rise above the noise. Here is powerful affirmation. I am the woman he can't forget because I saw what no one else did. Write this in the comments, queens, and claim it with all your heart. And if this message touched you, if it reminded you of who you are becoming, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're here working hard to give you not just content, but truth, so you never forget the power you carry. Number 2. When you stop begging to be chosen and start walking like you are the storm, not the shelter, he starts chasing the calm only you once gave. Have you ever noticed how fast he pulls away when you start chasing? How the more you try to prove your worth, the more he acts like you aren't enough. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. That's the truth no one tells you. The more you beg to be chosen, the more invisible you become. But the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop waiting for his attention, everything changes. When you stop begging to be chosen and start walking like you are the storm, not the shelter, he starts chasing the calm only you once gave. There's a quote that says, she stopped asking for attention, and that's when he gave it. Because what draws a man in deeply, emotionally, spiritually, even obsessively, is not a woman who pleads for love. It's the woman who becomes love itself. The woman who doesn't need to be rescued because she learned how to rise on her own. She doesn't knock on locked doors. She builds her own house. And when he sees her standing tall, without him, untouched by his absence, that's when the craving begins. That's when the emotional addiction takes root. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships. It stands still and shines. The stronger the storm, the brighter it glows. And the ships, they always return to the light. You were never made to shrink yourself to fit into his world. You were meant to walk through your own with such power, such grace, that he can't forget the peace you brought. And when he looks for that calm in her and doesn't find it, when he reaches out and feels nothing but noise, he will remember you. Not just the woman you were, but the storm you became. So beautiful, lady, no more softening your voice just to be heard. No more dimming your light just to feel accepted. From this moment on, you walk like the storm. You speak with purpose. You move with power. And you love yourself so completely, he either rises to meet you or gets left in the past. You don't need to prove anything. You are the proof. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I am the storm he cannot forget. Let him feel the absence. Let him remember the peace he lost. And while he lingers in regret, you rise in silence. We are working hard every day to bring you these life-changing truths, because your reign begins now. Number 3. When your silence echoes louder than your words, it haunts him in every quiet moment. Have you ever noticed how loud silence can feel when it's coming from the one he thought would always be there? Not shouting, not begging, just gone. That silence, it's not empty, it's powerful. And when it comes from you, it doesn't just echo, It haunts him. He doesn't hear your voice anymore, and that's exactly why it rings in his ears. Every time his phone doesn't light up with your name, every time he's lying in bed and your laughter isn't in the room. He feels it. That silence becomes the reminder he can't run from. A man expects noise. He expects reaction. He expects words that prove you still care. But when you give him nothing, when your absence becomes your answer, it speaks louder than anything you could have said. He begins to miss the little things, the way your presence made the world feel steady. And when you're no longer around to catch his fall, that's when it hits. He didn't just lose a woman, he lost his calm, and now the quiet that surrounds him, that's the sound of you not needing him anymore. Rumi once said, "Listen to silence. It has so much to say." That's exactly what your silence becomes. A message that needs no explanation. A sentence with no words but endless meaning. He will remember the way you used to reach out, the way you always showed up, the way your love made him feel seen. And now there's nothing. That's when silence becomes pain. Not yours, his. Think of a candle that used to light a dark room, warm, software familiar. He got used to the light, but then one day you blew it out. Not with drama, not with fire, just gone. And now he sits in the dark, remembering how bright you used to be. He tries to replace the light, but nothing feels the same. Because your glow? It wasn't just light, it was love. And now that love is out of reach, you are not broken, dear woman. You are simply quiet now, and in your silence, you become the one he thinks about when no one else is around. This is not weakness. This is transformation. This is the moment you begin to live as a queen. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence will echo in his soul. Let the world know, queens, that from this moment on, your peace speaks louder than your pain. We are working hard to bring you life-changing lessons that help you rise, rebuild, and reign. Number 4. When you love him without needing him, he becomes addicted to your independence. Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop needing him is the moment he starts needing you? It's strange, isn't it? The second you stop trying to fit into his world, he suddenly wants to be part of yours. Because a woman who doesn't need him but still chooses to love him, that kind of love is powerful. That kind of presence, it stays with him, it lingers. It becomes something he can't forget and something he can't live without. He was used to being needed, to being chased, to being the one with the power, but you shifted everything the moment you loved him from a place of strength, not from emptiness. And now he feels it. He feels the difference. He's not addicted to control anymore. He's addicted to you, to your calm, to your depth, to your independence that doesn't threaten him, but makes him feel safe. And that is rare. The strongest love is the love that doesn't ask, doesn't beg, but still stays rooted in freedom. That is the kind of love that touches his heart, not just his ego. Because love that doesn't come from desperation, but from confidence, that's what pulls him in deeper every day. Imagine a wildflower growing alone in the middle of a field. No one planted it, no one watered it, but still it bloomed, strong, free, and beautiful. That's the kind of woman he becomes addicted to. The kind that didn't wait for validation, the kind that didn't beg for love, the kind that knows her worth whether he sees it or not. And once he does see it, it hits him like a storm, quiet, steady, unstoppable. This isn't about playing games. This is about building a life where your happiness doesn't depend on his presence. This is about becoming the kind of woman who can love deeply, but will never lose herself trying to be loved back. That's when he realizes he can't replace you. He can't forget you, Because your love wasn't built on need, it was built on choice. And that makes it unforgettable. Dear woman, you don't need him to complete you. You are already whole. And when you love from that place, that's when he becomes emotionally addicted, not to your body, but to your essence. Write this in the comments and claim it. He is drawn to my strength, not my need. Queens, let this be the moment you remember who you are. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are working hard to bring you lessons that help you stop waiting and start reigning. Number 5. When your boundaries become your crown, he finally understands he can't treat you like a doormat and still call it love. Have you ever noticed how the moment you start saying no, he starts looking at you differently? Not because he's angry, but because he never expected you to finally stop accepting the bare minimum. At first, he may act surprised, maybe even distant. But something changes the second you stop bending yourself to fit into the tiny space he offered you. That's when he starts paying attention. That's when he starts realizing he can't treat you like a doormat and still call it love. You gave him kindness, you gave him patience, you gave him the benefit of every doubt, and yet he kept pushing, testing how far you'd go, how much you'd tolerate. But now you've drawn a line, and that line, queen, is your crown. A woman with boundaries is a woman a man cannot forget. Why? Because he may find others who give in easily, but he won't find another who made him rise to meet her. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good woman should be. Be one." And being that woman, it means honoring your worth, not proving it. It means setting the standard, not begging to meet his. Because once you start living like your love is a gift, not a favor, he feels it. Deep, real, irreplaceable. Think of a locked vault. Inside is gold, rare and untouchable. Not just anyone gets access. And that's exactly what you are becoming. The more you protect your heart, your energy, your standards, the more valuable you become in his eyes. Because love that is always available is often taken for granted. But love that comes with self-respect, that's unforgettable. And maybe he walked away. Maybe he didn't know how to handle the woman who finally stood up for herself. Let him, because soon he'll realize he didn't just lose comfort. He lost the only woman who ever challenged him to grow. The only woman who didn't let him stay small. The only woman who made him want to become more. Dear lady, your boundaries are not walls, they are your throne. Your refusal to settle is not rejection, it's royalty. And once you wear that crown with pride, the right man will rise, or the wrong one will run. Write this in the comments and claim it. My boundaries are my crown. Let it be known that from this moment on, you are done shrinking, done pleasing, done being his afterthought. We are working hard to bring you the truth, the strength, and the lessons that help you rise into the woman you were always meant to be. Number 6. When you become the peace that his chaos can't recreate, he keeps coming back until he realizes you're no longer waiting. Have you ever noticed how the loudest craving in his heart isn't always about passion, drama, or noise? It's about peace, not silence, not absence, but that rare, calming presence he can't find anywhere else. That feeling he had when he was with you, the steady comfort, the warmth in your eyes, the softness in your voice that made even his worst days feel less heavy. He didn't realize it at the time, but you weren't just part of his life, you were his peace. And once you walked away, he started searching for that feeling again. The problem is, no one else brings it. He can laugh with her, he can sleep next to her, but deep down, he knows you were different. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And that's the truth he's now learning. The more you let go of chasing him, the more he feels the loss. Because you didn't beg, you didn't break. You simply became the woman whose absence echoes louder than anyone else's presence. Imagine a house filled with chaos, noise in every room, distractions at every turn. But in the center, there's one space so still, so warm, it feels like breathing again. That's what you were to him. And now that you're gone, he keeps walking through crowded rooms, trying to recreate the peace he once found in your presence. But it's not there, and it never will be, because you were the calm he didn't know he needed until the day he lost it. He thought you'd wait. He thought you'd still be there once the storm passed, but you didn't stay still. You didn't keep your heart on hold. You became the woman who understood that being the peace in someone's life doesn't mean waiting to be chosen. It means knowing when to walk away. And once you did, everything changed. You are not just a memory. You are the standard, the presence he cannot replace, the energy he cannot recreate. You are the kind of peace that shakes a man's soul, and once it's gone, he realizes the chaos isn't worth it. Now rise with truth in your heart. I am the peace he will never find again. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. Let it be your truth, your power, your reminder. We are working hard every day to bring you life-changing lessons because you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 7. When you let him go without bitterness, only elegance, he's left with nothing but shame and longing. Have you ever noticed how silence can feel louder than shouting? How the softest goodbye can echo in a man's heart louder than 1,000 angry words? He expects rage. He expects pain. He expects you to break. But when you let him go, not with screams or bitterness, but with calm, quiet elegance, that's when the regret starts. Not in the moment, but in the silence that follows. He walked away thinking you'd beg, thinking you'd chase, but instead, you just smiled, turned around, and never looked back. And that silence, it became the one thing he can't escape. He thought it would be easy to leave, that the new woman would fill the space you once held. But now, every time he closes his eyes, he sees you, not crying, not pleading, but glowing. He remembers your strength, your grace, the way you left without burning the bridge because you already knew he'd never be allowed to cross it again. And that kind of goodbye, that haunts him. That makes him addicted to the memory of you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who caused you pain." And that's what you became, not his shadow, not his echo, but the standard. The one he now uses to measure every woman who comes after. But none of them feel like you, because you weren't just a part of his story. You were the one chapter he'll keep rereading, even after the book is closed. Think of a rose that blooms quietly in the middle of a storm. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg for attention, but it's impossible to ignore. That's you. Your quiet exit was louder than any breakdown. He expected you to fall apart. But instead, you became unreachable, untouchable, unforgettable. You are not the woman who stays to prove she was worth it. You are the woman who walks away with so much peace, it leaves him drowning in the noise of his own choices. You didn't fight to stay, and now he can't stop fighting the feeling of losing you. So write this in the comments and claim it. My silence became the loudest thing he ever heard. Queens, if this message reminded you of who you really are beneath the pain, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you life-changing truths, powerful lessons, and the strength you already carry inside. You were never meant to break, you were meant to reign.